What's up, everybody? Welcome to KindaFunny's live reaction to PlayStation's State of Play broadcast for Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, aka the second best baby blues in San Francisco, aka the engaged one, at Tim Geddes. Hello, Tim.
Let's him host. Very excited to be here. Can't wait to see some PlayStation announcements. Let's bring the hype.
Next to him is Forbes 30 Under 30, aka the future class of video games, aka the OK Beast Blessing at Ioye Jr.
I am moderately excited. Not sure what to expect, but looking forward to some announcements.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, he's the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas treat, Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe-trotting, head-shotting from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
Hello, everybody. I don't know what to expect. I have no clue what could happen today. If we see Final Fantasy 16, cool.
Do you guys think we'll get that? Anything of that level?
I totally think we could. I don't think that we necessarily are going to for sure, but I keep saying this. State of plays are so inconsistent that, like, I don't think it's a fair assessment that, oh, it's just they're all going to suck. They're always going to be Little Devil Inside. I don't think that's the case.
This one is, of course, focused on their Japanese publisher friends. Of course, they put this out and said a new State of Play is upon us. Join us Wednesday. You're already here. Eye-catching updates, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. No, we won't have any updates on PSVR 2 or hardware on this broadcast. The show is clocking in around 20 minutes, give or take, with a special focus on highlighted great games coming from some of our beloved Japanese publishers, though we'll have a few updates from other developers located around the world, too. We are 30 seconds away. I'm saying you get something Resident Evil related. That's what I say. That's what I'm going to put out there in the hopper.
Resident Evil 4 would be dope.
That'd be incredible. That's a good call. Re3 Remake was announced as a State of Play, so.
Yeah.
Is there any chance we get any God of War information?
No.
I
mean, there's a chance, of course. They say here a few
date?
updates from other developers around the world, but I don't think you do that here. That's one you can just put out and it stands on its own.
Oh, shut up.
You do some cool announcements. Shut the fuck up, Greg. You stupid fucking idiot. We hate you, Greg.
Peggy 18.
Oh. Yeah, that'll do it.
You watching low quality or what?
Yeah, Andy.
Oh, 2043.
Oh, it's that Capcom game, right?
Shut up.
I'd like to share today's dinosaur forecast.
Pragmata.
A dinosaur outbreak will soon occur.
Head automatic.
That makes sense.
In the affected area have been evacuated.
Why is it all
and a
slimy
team
in
of
there?
Xo fighters has been dispatched. A vortex warning has been issued. Please remain indoors.
Mechs, dude. Anthem.
This is the answer.
Armored Core.
Oh, it's like the boss of Bloodborne Blessing. The one reborn.
Whoa. Wait, is it Dino Crisis?
No shot.
Yeah.
No, it's
is it Pragmata? Or?
Pragmata. It's Pragmata.
Okay. Is it Pragmata : Dino Crisis?
Project Pragmata, renamed Dino Crisis.
Oh, wait. I saw the red hair. That looked like Dino Crisis.
I make a sensitive situation.
You've been living fighting the chief directors for 2 years.
All I wanted was to be IBS's top pilot.
IBS's latest dinosaur forecasts and exosuit technology.
No, this might be Dino
were
Crisis.
able to keep human casualties to 0.
What the actual hell?
Why are
Not
the
like
characters
this.
straight up Anthem? No.
People love the Anthem characters. They hated the lack of fun.
Exosuit development is proceeding under the guidance
I mean, it's weird because this seems, the style looks similar to Pragmata, but it looks very different. Like, that was like the moon and cats and shit.
No, yeah. Pragmata looked like a Kojima game.
Meanwhile, IBS continues to recruit candidates to
What the
become
fuck
new
is this?
exofighters. Humanity's greatest hope.
Damn, there's a lot of dinosaurs on screen right now. And that's only possible on PlayStation 5 and the power up.
Solid state gem.
As the...
Notice
I'm
there's
gonna
no
be real.
dinosaurs.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Xo Primal.
I'm happy that's not Dino Crisis, because that is not Dino
Another
Crisis.
Yeah.
exofighter recruit, right?
I'm happy that's not Pragmata either.
Welcome to IBS.
Who is it going to be? Who do you think? Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Solid Snake.
State of Play returns with more announcements and updates for your favorite games. We just saw the debut of Xo Primal, a brand new IP from Capcom. It hits PS4 and PS5 next year. Next up, let's get some eye-popping updates for some fan favorites launching soon.
Is this game good, Greg?
Nice
Blink,
try.
blink twice if it is.
I will not blink for anything. Preview is coming up soon. YouTube.com/KindaFunny games.
あいつはこの先に一体何を見ているっていうんだ。
That's so scary.
Yeah. It does look very good.
Ooh, the music.
Andy, you gonna play this game?
Fuck no, dude.
こんなことが許されるはず。
But you can parry attacks like that. That looks really cool when you do that. When you do the...
That's pretty good.
Yeah. The hand.
That's
Good,
Is
good
that
art
the
to
rock
hand
that
signal.
broke recently? Doesn't that look like the rock that just broke?
What are you talking
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, I
about.
have no idea what you're referencing.
A Japanese rock that supposedly holds the spirit of a nine tails just broke like 2 days ago.
So the Nine Tails is loose now?
Did you dream this?
Is this the
No,
setup of a new
this
Ghostbusters
actually
movie?
happened.
Ghostbusters Tokyo?
The rock just looks just like that, and it has a rope. Had a rope tied.
I'm legit hyped to try this out.
Yeah, it looks great. Legitimately, I have not started the code I have. I'm trying to get to do WWE.
Big mouth. That mouth.
Face the unknown, Andy.
来るんだろ一緒に。
So, you coming or what? Such a sick logo, though.
Never too late to say you want to play it, Andy.
Oh yes, let's go, dude! Game of the year, baby!
You think they play any funny music in the trailer?
Oh my god, it's gonna be Hootie and the Blowfish.
I'm gonna say Ave Maria.
Marlboro.
Runaway by Kanye West.
Oh, dude. Final Fantasy, dude. Let's go.
New demo today? Hell yeah,
Later
dog!
today, visit PlayStation Store to download a new demo for Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
The only thing that can get me off of Elden Ring
Now,
is this.
let's jump into the world of Forspoken with some all-new gameplay.
Delayed.
It is quite beautiful.
Yeah, in a everything here wants to kill you kind of way.
I want a new level.
Yep, that's me. You'll never guess how I got in this situation. Whoa, that looks so
That was cool. That was cool.
That's
Fuck.
fucking cool. God, the
doing gun
particle
figures?
effects in this game are just going off, dude.
Whoa.
Very interesting. I know previews were lukewarm on it, but I think it looks cool. Like, I think it looks like it'd
I
be
mean, what they're showing here looks more interesting than what they showed in the previews.
People previewed this game? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Whoa! Holy shit! That looks dope.
I've been telling y'all.
What have you been saying? Surfing's cool or what?
Yeah, he's been saying boogie boards are the future.
No, I'm holding out hope for Forspoken.
Let's finish this.
I do think that this might be the best trailer so far for this game.
For sure.
I
Hands
agree.
down.
I don't know. That seemed better.
So yeah, that looks way better than everything they showed before.
No, I'm just kidding. That looks really good, and I'm interested in
That was a new look at the sprawling PS5 adventure Forspoken from Luminous Productions.
Give me something
Let's
new.
check out some 6v6 action in Gundam
Oh,
Evolution.
shit, Andy.
A fast-paced multiplayer shooter coming
I've
to
been training
PS4
for
and
this
PS5
forever,
later
dude.
this year.
I'm going for world rank here. I hope y'all know.
Wow.
In Gun Jam Revolution. Deviation Studios.
Hell yeah.
What's the meta? What do you think, chat?
That guy, was that a plane that turned into a Gundam?
I believe so, Kevin.
The Transformers now?
You gotta wonder like how big these hallways are.
Massive.
for a Gundam to just walk through them. I think they have like big restrooms for the Gundams. Whoa, that
was cool.
This design, man, timeless.
Gundams. I mean, what's the name of that one?
Like the main one?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Mark
Not gonna
7
lie,
or
I
some
kept
shit.
thinking that D was a J. I thought it was Gun Jam Evolution.
Yeah, you said Gun Jam. I just let it go.
Oh, yes! That's cool.
The hardest game ever made.
They didn't show
Dude,
that
that Game Boy one kicked my ass.
I think like the first Let's Play I ever watched was Angry Video Game Nerd playing the one on regular Nintendo.
Damn level.
Where he does the jump, like you find out that you're not supposed to jump, you just walk over the hole. Like, god damn it.
So
wait, did they show that one, Kev? I didn't see it.
What?
That game? Is that part of this?
No, I guess not.
Is it
Yeah,
not?
it is. It is.
Oh,
was
it
right
is,
there.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
God, those sound
Holy
effects
cow.
are so good.
Oh, that's great. Hell yeah.
Konami.
War of the Monsters?
A lot of big giants thing. Huh?
Oh, wait. This is War of the Monsters, right?
Yeah, that's what this looks like, yeah.
We're bringing back party mode for this one?
Giga
Bash.
Giga.
Bless.
Come on, he's trying his hardest.
PS5.
It's not me.
Does nobody ever call it Gaiga?
No.
Next,
No?
the fan favorite fighting game makes a beautiful
I've heard it called
bizarre
Gaiga
return.
before.
Nobody's
I
ever
don't
said
think
that.
so.
Gigabit.
I've heard it both ways.
I need a gigabit. It's a fan favorite fighting game. What's it gonna be?
This looks like JoJo.
JoJo shit, right?
Is it Jump Force or some shit?
They canceled Jump Force, didn't they?
Yeah, it's JoJo.
8 minutes left, give or take.
シレモノがエコーシャボン玉だ今こそ私が私に策があるオラが守るぞ行くぞ協力してやるオラオダ久々先生スターレハモン罰の時間だ流し込むよくも惨殺処刑だチャリオッツあ行くわよ始末させてもらうぞすべて超えてやるそのまま眠りなてめえ
All those up close like animations look so much like Fighter Z and like the Street Fighter kind of like here's my ultra move, let me play this animation. Ding 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 ding.
Our next two games will take you beyond life and death.
Beyond.
Track to Yomi. Yeah, it is.
The Devolver game, right?
Yeah. This game looks dope as hell.
Yeah, this is. I've never seen this. This is crazy.
This is at the Devolver showcase.
すでにお前の村に入っておる。お前がした者とも今や守ることが
No,
で
it's
きない。
family.
This looks rad.
God damn.
Oh shit. Oh shit, Springs. That's close.
Almost now.
Very cool. Very cool. I love that it's not all side-scrolling.
Oh.
Trapped in an endless cycle.
Hey!
Whoa! Fighting. Dying. Returning. Always the same.
Retunal.
Yet always changing. Astra, I'm not alone.
Kevin in the distance.
Oh, it's co-op?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, let's fucking go.
Holy shit.
Let's fucking go.
Now I stand before the endless tower. I climb as Sisyphus did, pushing the boulder upward.
Yelling from a bathroom.
No matter how high I climb, the challenge begins again.
Making like a pot of macaroni and screaming.
I'm just closing my windows. It's cold in here. I'm closing my windows.
But I fight on through the infinite, seeking answers.
What the fuck?
Seeking ascension.
Different biomes, right?
My release is within this tower.
Different enemies.
And I will find it.
Is she climbing a tower?
Yeah, looks like it.
It's her release, bro.
It's like that Doom level. It's like that that one Doom level where you just sort of climb as high as
Ascension.
That's awesome. That's fucking great. That made all this worth
Housemarque is bringing campaign co-op and a mysterious new survival
little over a
mode
week.
to Returnal Ascension.
Yeah, new survival mode.
Free
New
update
survival
hitting
mode and
this
campaign
March.
co-op.
That's so sick.
It's almost time to sign off, but before we do, let's get a first look at 2 brand new games coming from Square Enix.
2 brand new games.
Is this really what you want?
And you are certain that what we are doing is best for the people of the kingdom?
Yes. I suppose it would, in a sense. True. Yes. It made me wonder, am I still that same person?
The era of myths gives way to an era of great turmoil. The continent was ravaged by the devastating war between the Empire and the Alliance. However, one nation remained unaffected by the chaos. The Kingdom of Alatane, Ward of the Augurs, looked destined to have its soil stained with the blood of battle.
We've finally been called up.
We're up against the Empire's main army.
I love these visuals.
We are to eradicate every last Imperial who comes ashore. Keep focused.
Come on, everyone!
Oh.
Oh, interesting. It's a more like XCOM style combat.
Do you really have such a yearning for war? I can't comprehend
that 2D art reminds me so much of Vagrant Story.
Yeah.
So then, what shall we do now?
We're going to retake it.
This is our chance while they're all assembled. We should send our best and crush them.
That's right. All the more reason to avoid bloodshed.
The guy with the beard looked like Corey Barlow.
We're in danger. I suppose it is the only way for us to survive.
I love you, Square. Never change.
It's like you can never like predict what it's gonna be called.
No,
yeah.
Just hit
They make
random.
up. They make up a new word every single time.
Hit random on the 3 words.
Guys, don't trust all these camera angles. Thanks, Kevin.
Where is it?
It's gonna be a card game.
In an unjust world, you choose.
If the will to fight still lingers within you, then accept my offer and join me.
Chad is saying near, and there's no way. If this is near, I might.
I mean, it is, right?
This looks so weird, though.
I don't even know it's near the weird game.
Yeah, but like art style wise, this looks weird.
Valkyrie, heed my words. Ragnarok tears our world asunder. All we hold precious lies on the brink of annihilation. Become my tool of intervention and save this world from doom.
It might be Drakengard.
Valkyrie Elysium.
Your efforts to remain undetected are lacking. Reveal yourself.
Bullshit. It's a guy from Final Fantasy Origin.
Who are you?
A friend.
Who are you?
That's all for today. We'll see you soon with another State of Play.
A friend. There you have it.
Well, there you go. State of
Another
play.
State of Play.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna toss us some ads real quick, and then when we get back, we're gonna give you our thoughts on that State of Play. Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. If you've ever been on the bus or the train with someone who's taking a phone call on speaker, you know that everyone who can hear them now knows a bunch of their private business. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is basically the same thing, so don't be that person. Did you know your ISP knows every single website you visit, and then they can sell that information to ad companies and tech giants who can use that data to target you? Well, ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so people can't peep in on your online activity. The best part of it is how easy it is to use. You just fire up the ExpressVPN app and click a button on any device. I've been using this forever. KindaFunny's been staying safe on the internet with ExpressVPN, and they're right. It could not be easier to use. Secure your online activity today at expressvpn.com/kindafunny and get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Upstart. If you've got multiple credit card balances each month and are getting by just paying the minimums, barely making a dent into your credit card debt, it can be pretty dang discouraging. Upstart can help you pay off your existing debt quickly so you can feel like you're finally getting ahead. Whether you're paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. Upstart knows that you are more than just your credit score and is expanding access to affordable credit. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 and $50,000 and receive your funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/kindafunny. That's upstart.com/kindafunny. Don't forget to use the URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Babbel for sponsoring this episode. There's nothing worse than traveling abroad and looking like an idiot because you didn't bother to learn the slightest bit of the country's language. That's why Greg Miller has been using a little Babbel to learn French to speak to Genevieve. Babbel is the addictively fun, fast, and easy language learning app that has sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and you can choose from 14 different languages like Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent, which has been helping Greg Miller be able to communicate with Jen's extended family. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code KindaFunny. That's BABBEL.com, code KindaFunny. Babbel, language for life. And shout out to Chime. Kick off 2022 with a better checking account with no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no foreign transaction fees, and no service fees. Get all of that and then some with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card. They've also got over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs all over the place, like at most Walgreens, 7-Elevens, or CVS's. You can access your money when you need it, where you need it. Make your first good decision of the new year and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/kfgames. That's chime.com/kfgames. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes Pay Anyone instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds. Chime.com/KF Games. So now we're back. What did we think? Greg Miller, I want to start with you.
I thought it was exactly as fine as it was going to be. When they announced it and they were like, we're going to focus on the Japanese publishers and a few things from around the world, 20 minutes, you knew it was going to be super quick. You knew you were going through a bunch of games that may or may not hit for you. I thought, as we saw the internet become on fire with predictions and stuff, and then granted the rumor of a Sly and Infamous thing being in the works before it didn't help certain people, I saw expectations go a bit too high. But again, I think the Returnal stuff's cool. I think the Trek to Yomi looks cool, which we already knew. We've seen that before. It was just on the blog not too long ago as well. So for me, just those two alone, I'm like, all right, that was great to see. It's cool to see them get these out to other people. And I know that obviously as we go through different people here, you're going to have different games that resonated with people.
Bless.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the exact same place. This was kind of exactly where I expected it to be, just coming off of the cadence of the last few State of Plays. They very much established State of Plays being something where it's not where you're getting the big hype, exciting announcements. It's not where you're getting whatever the big next big PlayStation first-party studio game is, right? I'm even surprised that we got Returnal here, if I'm being honest. I think that for me was the highlight, and I'm excited about that. But overall, this really fell in line, and I'm coming to the place now where I'm like, I'm just not excited for State of Plays anymore. Whenever they announce the next one, if it is hey, this is going to be a 20-minute presentation, this is going to be a 30-minute State of Play presentation, I feel like I've ran out of reasons to be super excited for them, right? It's nice to see these games here, right, where most of these games I'm probably going to lose excitement for, but there are these things here and there where I'm like, I do want to play Trek to Yomi, I do want to play the Returnal DLC, I do want to play a couple of these, but as a whole, right, I look at this game that looked like Dino Crisis and or Pragmata, and it ended up being neither of them, and ended up being something that I can't see myself getting excited about in the future, but we'll see, right? I feel like these levels of announcements for State of Play kind of put it in this weird place of, does this really need to be a thing, or could this be a blog post? But with that, it's fine. If I'm giving a grade, it's a C- probably.
Andy.
So a 3 out of 5, okay.
3 out of 5, okay.
3 out of 5, okay.
Yeah, 3 out of 5, okay for me too.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming for me. I think just like Bless and Greg mentioned, the Returnal news is kind of the only thing that really excited me because I did not see any of that coming. I'm not sure if that's been something that has been rumored in the past or in the past couple of months or anything like that. But none of these games really look interesting to me. And I think this Xo Primal thing is like the prime example of a game that looks like it's going to come out and just kind of immediately die because it's going to require lots of people to play it, and it's going to require matchmaking, and we will hear within 3 weeks, wow, look at the player base of Xo Primal. Only 2,000 people are playing it. Like this game is kind of primed for that sort of debut. Trek to Yomi looks fantastic. But aside from that, yeah, I'm with Blessing. I think the state of plays that I'll get excited about are the ones where they say, hey, we have 47 minutes of stuff coming.
Yeah,
and
there's 20
this
minutes of gameplay for Horizon.
Yeah, and then they kind of will immediately let you know you are going to hear from X and Y developers. So get excited about this. Those are the ones that I know to look forward to. This one, I knew it wasn't going to, rock my socks, and it sure didn't, Greg Miller. Sure didn't.
It didn't even come close to rocking your socks.
My socks, consider them not rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'd give it a 3 as well. I don't really love seeing Capcom getting back into the kind of like 360 era, it kind of feels like, of games with this Xo Primal. Like I'm with you guys where it doesn't really look interesting, especially when there are things we want to see from Capcom, and I definitely would have loved to see some Resident Evil and all of that. But there were definitely games here that I'm excited about. The TMNT Cowabunga collection, sure, doesn't need to be announced in a state of play. Like that totally could have just been a tweet or whatever, but I'm excited for that because I really love a lot of those games. Trek to Yomi, I didn't see that Devolver press conference at E3 last year, or this year, whenever that was.
You knew what you were doing, Tim.
And I knew what I was doing exactly. But I am blown away by that. So excited, and it being spring, that is super hype. Returnal getting the co-op, I think that's a really cool move for them, and that's going to be really exciting to see you guys get into that. And Forspoken, I'm trepidatiously excited about it. Like I'm hopeful. I think the delay is going to be good for it. I was talking to Bless a couple days ago on Games Daily, but like I think that May didn't feel quite right, whereas October, I'm like, that might be a good place for that game to kind of find its place. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, but enough of it looks cool, and I like the elements of Final Fantasy 15 that it seems to be kind of adapting into its own thing. So I'm excited for that. Otherwise, yeah, this kind of felt like the whole point of it was to kind of just remind people of some of the games coming out right now: Stranger of Paradise, Ghostwire Tokyo, and all of that. But yeah, a lot of the games didn't speak to me. The Square ending I thought was a very poor way to go out. I don't understand State of Play's insistence to not really have great pacing in terms of hype. Like that is a dud to kind of let go on.
Should have ended on Returnal.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly.
And I feel like that just really would have changed, I think, the take on this as an overall state of play, and that's something that they've really, really, really struggled with, and it baffles me, to be honest. But content-wise, don't think overall it was that bad, but nothing that was like mind-blowingly cool. Andy, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I think it was kind of easy for me to just forget about what Forspoken showed off, which I think it looks fantastic. Like this is, like Blessing was mentioning earlier, this is like, I think, the best showing that we've seen of Forspoken. Visually, the soundtrack, obviously, like the music was kind of popping off, so that certainly helps out a lot. But just seeing more of the combat done in kind of like edited in very entertaining ways, I think the game looks really fun, and seeing those really far off shots, the way the movement is, the way you're fighting enemies and kind of warding off certain different things, all the particles look fantastic. I think Forspoken is like immediately kind of looking better and better the more that we see it. I think this is the best showing we've seen so far. I think it's going to remind me of, in a way, like this is gonna sound like a huge knock, and it's not necessarily not a knock, but it's gonna remind me of Outriders, where I don't really care about the story, but the gameplay is really keeping me in and keeping me invested. Like Outriders was my guilty pleasure last year. I beat all of it. I had such a blast with the actual gameplay, moment-to-moment stuff of it, but I couldn't really care less about the characters or what was happening in the world.
Oh, interesting.
This game, gameplay-wise, like this looks like it's fucking hitting all the marks that I needed to hit for me.
See, I expect the story for this to connect with me. I like this, person at a time thing out of her normal life dropped in here. And as you see her getting more and more powerful in here, I'm excited to see what the actual tale is.
Yeah, for me, I think I am still looking for the substance out of it. Like, I think the premise of the story is really interesting. I like the idea that she is out of time and is in this fantasy world. But I think the thing that this trailer brought was the style, and it brought the flashiness, and it looked way more flashy than it has before. But I'm still looking for the substance out of it, because it seems like it is a game that takes place in this open environment. It seems like you are going out. You have a village area that you hang out in, and then you go out and you fight monsters and go off on an adventure. I want to know what the substance of that adventure is, right? Like, is it Monster Hunter, where it is I keep coming back to the same place? Is it I'm exploring a world like it is Elden Ring, or like it is Skyrim, or an open world action RPG? Like, I kind of want to see what the day-to-day of the game is, and I want to see like what what my actual, I guess, like tasks are going to be, right? Like, am I going out to upgrade? Am I going out to meet people? Like, I think there's still a lot of questions yet to be answered, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't, like, at the end of the day, end up being empty in the open world. But in terms of the flashiness, yeah, I think they showed that off really well.
We got Stranger of Paradise. There's a new demo out today. It's coming March 18th. Andy, you seem pretty excited about that. Like, jokes aside and everything, where are you actually at with Strangers of Paradise?
I enjoy Stranger of Paradise's combat, and I think it is a very memeable game to play and laugh at, because so many aspects are bad about it. But gameplay-wise, I think it's a very solid action game. It has a lot of the elements that I love in action games. It has a very solid, like, parry counter mechanic, with absolutely laughable dialogue. And I expect the visuals to look on par with what I'm seeing them looking like here on Discord, which is less than 720p. Like, that game continues to look terrible and more terrible as you download every new demo. And I hope that they certainly fix that, because anytime I've played that game, it still looks like a blurry mess, and I don't understand how it still looks that way. I had mentioned that it looks like a like the lost files of a PS3 game that never came out. Like, that's what it's always kind of looked like. But it has very solid combat. I think they need to work on some things mechanically when it comes to magic and how the magic works in that game, where maybe you just got to get used to it, but it feels like you're constantly fumbling through different magic spells that you're trying to throw out there, because it's got all the Firaga Tim, and the Ice Saga and the Grass Saga. I don't know what the hell they call these things.
I mean, dude, the Final Fantasy main theme, that epic, I was like, all right, this is pretty dope.
Yeah, so, like, it's a goofy game. It's like by far the goofiest game I've played in a long time, dialogue-wise, and just acting and everything. But it's fun, and the boss fights are cool, and they're really challenging. I do think that maybe it's a little too challenging for, like, it's gonna have that difficulty level of a Souls game, and people might go into it expecting more of your traditional just hack and slash Final Fantasy 15 / Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and it is not that. It is definitely you have to be a lot more thoughtful with what you're doing. You have to be a lot more careful, because these enemies will take you out in like 2 hits if you aren't reading their moves right. So I hope they fix some of that. I got really, really annoyed with watching my teammates, the 2 people you run around with. They would always kind of get in the way of enemies doing animations, and I never knew what move was coming at a lot of moments, because my teammates are up there doing bullshit. It's like, I can't read this. This is hard for me to read right now. So yeah, I'm excited for it. That's what you're gonna say?
I was gonna say, I do think the Souls thing is gonna be the seller of it, though, because I like, if this Final Fantasy game was more of a Devil May Cry style fast hack and slash game, like, I know that would sell it also, but I would probably be personally less interested in it. I think there's like a certain zeitgeist around From Software and around like this studio, who is the same folks behind Nioh, right? Like, enough people love Nioh's gameplay that I'm sure if you couple that with Final Fantasy, there's going to be that audience there that is like, oh shit, that actually sounds like a fun time. And coming off of Elden Ring, I think there's going to be enough like hype after that where people are like, all right, I want the next hit of something that feels like that. Okay, Final Fantasy feels like that. Cool, let me jump into Strangers of Paradise and play it. And I think for me, like, I'm looking forward to it as a palate cleanser of like, yeah, I had so much fun with Elden Ring. I want something else that's going to kick my ass, or something that has that more methodical combat. And I'm jumping into it for that, and also that flair of it being Final Fantasy as well.
Before we leave, Greg, I want to ask you, what do you think's next for PlayStation? This state of play kind of being clearly Japanese focused. They said that. We knew kind of what we were getting here. But Now we're in this place where God of War Ragnarok still slated for 2022. We don't really know, now that Horizon and Gran Turismo 7 are out, what the rest of the year looks like for PlayStation as a whole. What do you think we get?
I think God of War hits this year. So I think you're going to get a God of War state of play at some point. I think it'll be deeper in the year. Not like, insanely deep, but I think that's a towards the back half product launch for them. I also think the big ticket for them in terms of like, and this is, talking about giant things and big announcements, right? I think PlayStation VR 2. I think we have to get a PlayStation showcase, not even a state of play, about PlayStation VR 2, right? I don't know if the disembodied voice can walk us through exactly what PlayStation VR 2 is, why it's cool, here are the awesome games. I think that is something you do more of a presentation for, where you have human beings out there to talk about it, developers talk about their games, the people who are working on it behind the scenes at PlayStation, the tech to talk about that as well. So I think that's a big part of it. Obviously we've done this push here for the Japanese developers. I think you will see something from them again for indies. I think you have, Xo and team over there continue to go out and try to make these deals. And, they're doing an indie sale right now that they're promoting. The blog will occasionally do those, we're announcing 7 indie games this thing. I bet you got a presentation at some point this year to promote the games that are imminent and coming out later in the year as well. I think those would be the big tentpole things you'd see for state of play / presentations of what you're going to see. The order of which all depends on release dates of what's happening. And also, of course, delays, constraints, COVID delays, stuff to that knowledge.
Bless, what do you think we get from Sony in that E3 timeframe, that June area where normally people kind of bring a little bit more heat?
I think there is a chance we could get a showcase, right? Like what Greg was saying, right? Like they skipped out entirely on that portion of the year last year, and I think the difference with this year is that you do have God of War and you do have what could be cool surprises for the latter half of the year. I know there are the rumors of Sly Cooper and Infamous, which I don't necessarily buy, but like between rumors of that, between what we know is Last of Us Remake that could be in the works right now, between that and probably a handful of other things, I think you have things that you could show and have things that could bulk up the fall. And I think that would make sense in a showcase, whereas like state of play, I think, I saw somebody in chat comparing it to Nintendo Direct and saying that like, oh, I mean, even the bad Nintendo Directs are better than this, right? And I think the difference between what a Nintendo Direct is versus what other showcases are is that like something like a Direct, I think sets the tone for what the year looks like for Nintendo. And state of play, I don't think is meant to set the tone for what the year looks like for PlayStation. I think state of play is just an additional way to market these games, whereas PlayStation 100%. Showcase, like the big presentations we got where it was like Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 and that stuff, that is meant to set the tone for what the next year or 2 years or 3 years might look like for PlayStation. And so with that, I could see maybe summertime we get a PlayStation showcase that is, here's us looking at this fall going into next year. And I think it would be talking about God of War as the main event, right? And like I'm split probably 50-50 between God of War coming out this fall and like early next year. I could see it coming out next February in the Horizon Forbidden West timeframe. But I think either way, you talk about it as the main event, and it could be, like Greg was saying, right? It could be PlayStation VR. It could be one of these many like games that they're partnering with, because there's the Jade Raymond game, there's the Deviation Studios game, there's Firewalk, there's Fire Sprite, right? Like there are so many different partnerships that PlayStation has, let alone studios that we don't know what they're making. There's Ben Studio, there's Sucker Punch, right? There's Bluepoint. What is Bluepoint working on? And I think it's about time for us to hear a little bit more of what these other studios are working on, aside from just Insomniac, since Insomniac is carrying PlayStation on their back right now. I think we start to hear about more of that stuff into the year, and I think there's a chance. I'm not sold on it, but I think there's a chance that happens this summer. Regardless, I think by the end of the year, you're going to get something, right? Like the PlayStation presentations seem like they're at least yearly, if not once or twice a year.
Andy, speaking to Bluepoint, do you think we see their game announced this year? And gut, what do you think it is?
I think it's got to happen. I think this coming E3, not only will we see whatever Bluepoint is doing, I genuinely think it will be a Bloodborne remake. Especially with Elden Ring being at a fever pitch, and not that these decisions weren't made a long time ago. But I do think that we will see the Bloodborne remake that is from the ground up, just like they did with Demon Souls. That will be their summer thing. And I do believe that in the summer, what Greg and Bless were mentioning, that we will get that sort of Horizon treatment, but for God of War, where they did that 20-minute sort of deep dive on Horizon. It'll be for God of War 2. It'll be, here's all the kind of systems to expect. Here, maybe some NPCs to run into. Here's some locations you'll be exploring. Here's some of the gameplay mechanics. But yeah, as far as Bluepoint goes, I definitely think that we will see their Bloodborne remake. God, at least I'm hoping so. Again, it wasn't on that NVIDIA list. It wasn't on the NVIDIA list. I just had to keep on throwing that out there.
Greg, to wrap this up.
Yeah.
When do we see what Team Asobi's working on?
That's a great question, Tim. That's a great question. If it's PlayStation VR, you'll see it when they announce PlayStation VR 2's lineup and move on that way. If it's just, you know, more of that level Astrobot and what he's up to and where he's going, I don't think you see it this year.
Very interesting.
Even with VR?
No, I'm saying if it's PlayStation VR, you'll see it this year. If it's a not PlayStation VR game, then I think you'll see it later, not this year.
Well, let us know in the comments below what you think the rest of the year is going to shake out to be for PlayStation. Until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.